Good day, my name is Martin Engelbrecht. I'm a labour law legal advisor from the Engelbrecht SEESA office.
Good day, I'm Diandra Cowie and I'm also a labour legal advisor from the Engelbrecht SEESA office. So today we are going to discuss sick leave in relation to COVID-19. So Martin, can you please explain to us on a normal basis when sick leave will be applicable in terms of the Basic Conditions of Employment Act?
Yes, so when an employee is absent for his second day or more in an 8-week cycle, or in circumstances where the employer suspects the employee is misusing their sick leave, that employee is obliged to tender a valid medical certificate from a medical practitioner in order to obtain paid sick leave. If you cannot do that, that will then be considered unpaid leave. With regards to these absences, have you received a lot of queries, Diandra, with regards to COVID-19 and employees staying away?
Yes, a lot of clients has asked me when sick leave will be applicable in terms of if an employee has tested positive for COVID-19, or if they show symptoms, when is sick leave applicable, or if they have been in direct contact, where the sick leave, is it going to be applicable and when is it not going to be applicable? So in terms of an employee who tests positive for COVID-19, I usually advise the client that that employee needs to provide his positive test result together with a medical certificate that indicates that that employee is medically unfit to work for that duration of the quarantine or the usual time period that we are all aware of the 10 days. Usually a medical practitioner may find it that an employee needs more time to recover from COVID-19, and therefore the medical certificate will indicate the same, and then sick leave will be applicable to that instances. Have you received any queries where an employee just indicates or developed certain symptoms and the client suspects that it is COVID-19?
Yes, quite a lot of queries actually. My advice in these circumstances is that the employer do a merit evaluation of comparing the employee's symptoms to the generally accepted symptoms of COVID-19 to assess whether or what's the possibility of the employee actually having COVID-19. Then have a look at, did the employee have contact with any positive tested cases? And if so, what is the employee's ability to work from home? If so, the employee can simply just work from home if he's able to do so. If the employee is not able to work from home, it is advisable that the employee then go for a COVID-19 test. Generally, those tests take between 24 and 48 hours for the results to come back, which we then sit with circumstances where there's a work day or two wherein the employee does not have a medical certificate and is at home isolating. Some medical practitioners do direct the employees by way of a medical certificate to self-isolate pending the results. In those circumstances, it will be considered a paid sick leave day or two. When the employee does not have a certificate like that, it will be technically considered unpaid leave. My advice is to discuss with the employee the implications of that day or two unpaid leave, and then also the possibility of the employee applying for annual leave for that day or two. Diandra, what's your advice with regards to direct contact?
So I usually advise the clients that should an employee report to him or her that he or she has been in direct contact with a person that has tested positive for COVID-19, that employee needs to self-isolate immediately. So if the employee has not reported for work as yet, that employee needs to remain at home to self-isolate. However, that employee needs to go and see a medical practitioner as soon as possible. Thereafter, the medical practitioner will determine whether the employee needs to undergo testing or whether that employee has developed symptoms or not. So in the case where an employee has developed symptoms, the medical practitioner will indicate that on the medical certificate, and the medical practitioner will then say that, listen, this employee is booked off for this certain period of time in order to undergo a test. And should the test or the COVID-19 test results be positive, then sick leave will be applicable, even though the employee only shows symptoms as well. Whereas if an employee undergoes the test without symptoms, or the medical practitioner indicates on the medical certificate that the employee does not have any symptoms, then also the same will apply. The employer and the employee can make an arrangement in order for the employee to submit annual leave for that duration, or it can be unpaid leave. So if the employee is able to work from home, as you have mentioned, then normal pay will be applicable, because that employee can continue with his or her duties at home while isolating, whether they have symptoms or not, no symptoms.
That's very interesting. I think that's all we have time for today. If you have any further questions with regards to absences and COVID-19, please contact your SEESA legal advisor or nearest SEESA office. Thank you, Diandra. Bye-bye.